Everything you desire can come to you with ease, without struggle, without resistance. There is a powerful energy in the universe that responds to your faith, to your focus, and to the words you declare. When you open yourself to receive, the impossible dissolves, the blocks fall away, and abundance begins to flow like a river with no barriers. Today, you are about to experience the power of a sacred mantra. It is not just repetition, it is a spiritual code that aligns your mind, your heart, and your life with the frequency of unlimited abundance. Before we begin, give yourself a moment of surrender. Take a deep breath. Release the weight of the day. Open your heart to receive. This is more than words, it is a meeting with the energy that transforms your life. As you repeat this mantra, you are reprogramming your mind and creating space for abundance to flow without resistance. With each repetition, more blocks dissolve, more doors open, and the path becomes lighter, more natural, and filled with grace. If this practice touches your soul, subscribe now and walk daily in an atmosphere of faith, abundance, and transformation. By liking this video, you spread this energy and help others awaken to the same power that already lives within them. Write in the comments, "Everything comes to me with ease." Seal your faith with these words, activating the movement in your life. And share this practice with someone special, because when we share light, it multiplies and always returns to us as even greater blessings. Now, softly close your eyes and let your breath guide you into presence. Inhale trust, exhale limitations. With every breath, feel this mantra already vibrating through your entire being. From this moment on, each word you hear will be like a key, unlocking doors and shaping new realities. Allow yourself to enter the flow, because nothing can resist this power. Everything comes to you with ease. I release every block that once limited my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I breathe deeply and feel peace filling me completely. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that I am guided by the flow of abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I let go of fear and open space for trust. Everything comes to me with ease. I know the universe is always preparing the best for me. Everything comes to me with ease. I welcome the present moment with gratitude and hope. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to believe that miracles are already unfolding now. Everything comes to me with ease. I feel doors opening before me in this very moment. Everything comes to me with ease. I deserve prosperity, love, and fullness in every area of my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a new reality aligned with my heart. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that I am worthy of every blessing. Everything comes to me with ease. I open my mind to unlimited opportunities. Everything comes to me with ease. I am guided by signs that confirm my victory. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate each achievement as proof of the abundance in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to release doubts and embrace trust. Everything comes to me with ease. I allow myself to prosper in harmony with the universe. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe that great things are arriving now. Everything comes to me with ease. I connect to the energy of love that sustains creation. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that everything I need is already in motion. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks in advance for all the victories flowing to me. Everything comes to me with ease. I open my heart to receive unlimited prosperity. Everything comes to me with ease. I attract resources and opportunities that expand my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I deserve a life of wealth and stability. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that money is an energy of blessings. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every gain as proof of abundance in motion. Everything comes to me with ease. I connect to ideas that multiply my prosperity. Everything comes to me with ease. I release every fear connected to money. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that the universe is always opening paths of growth. Everything comes to me with ease. I welcome new streams of abundance into my life now. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for all the prosperity already flowing to me. Everything comes to me with ease. I release all hurt and allow my heart to be healed. Everything comes to me with ease. I let go of the weight of past memories and walk lightly. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose forgiveness as the path of freedom. Everything comes to me with ease. I embrace my emotions with love and compassion. Everything comes to me with ease. I transform my wounds into strength and wisdom. Everything comes to me with ease. I am worthy of living in peace and balance. Everything comes to me with ease. I welcome serenity as part of my daily life. Everything comes to me with ease. I treat myself with kindness in every thought and action. Everything comes to me with ease. I breathe deeply and feel healing happening within me. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for being renewed each day with love. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe a divine force guides every step I take. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that the universe is always working in my favor. Everything comes to me with ease. I release my worries and receive peace in return. Everything comes to me with ease. I am guided by signs that confirm my path. Everything comes to me with ease. I rest in the certainty that nothing is impossible for me. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize the divine presence that sustains me in every moment. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to live with faith even when I cannot see the whole path. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe miracles are already unfolding in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for being guided toward abundance every single day. Everything comes to me with ease. I feel the connection with the divine strengthening my journey. Everything comes to me with ease. I love myself deeply and choose to treat myself with respect. Everything comes to me with ease. I honor my worth in every detail of my existence. Everything comes to me with ease. I am enough exactly as I am. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate my authenticity as part of my strength. Everything comes to me with ease. I deserve to receive love in all its forms. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to place my peace and happiness first. Everything comes to me with ease. I value my achievements and celebrate my journey. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust the person I am becoming each day. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for being unique and special in this world. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest self-love as the foundation of my abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to look ahead with renewed hope. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe the best is yet to come. Everything comes to me with ease. I move forward into a future filled with abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate in advance all the victories that are on their way to me. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that every new day brings greater opportunities. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe my destiny is one of prosperity and fullness. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for all the blessings already in motion. Everything comes to me with ease. I envision my life filled with achievements and joy. Everything comes to me with ease. I walk with courage, knowing the future holds miracles for me. Everything comes to me with ease. If this mantra is already flowing through you, write in the comments, "Everything comes to me with ease," and affirm this truth in your life. Take this moment to subscribe as well, so you continue receiving practices that strengthen your abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I transform every obstacle into a step toward victory. Everything comes to me with ease. I am stronger than any difficulty that appears. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe every trial carries within it a solution. Everything comes to me with ease. I walk with courage in the face of every challenge. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize the strength growing within me with each overcoming. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every achievement as proof of my resilience. Everything comes to me with ease. I leave the past behind and move forward with confidence. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to look ahead with faith and determination. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a life of constant victories. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks because I know I am already living in triumph. Everything comes to me with ease. I am deeply grateful for everything I have already achieved. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every detail of my life as a divine gift. Everything comes to me with ease. I transform every challenge into a reason for gratitude. Everything comes to me with ease. I find beauty and blessings in every new day. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks in advance for the victories already on their way. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that gratitude opens doors to greater abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate the people who surround me with love and support. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest prosperity because I am grateful for what I already have. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that the more I give thanks, the more I receive. Everything comes to me with ease. I live in constant gratitude, and abundance multiplies in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to live each day with lightness and enthusiasm. Everything comes to me with ease. I find reasons to smile in every moment of life. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate the small things that brighten my path. Everything comes to me with ease. I radiate joy and spread good energy wherever I go. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that happiness already lives within me. Everything comes to me with ease. I open myself to receive experiences that make my soul vibrate with joy. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a life filled with happy moments. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for the opportunity to live this day in fullness. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to create memories that strengthen my soul. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate the life that flows through me now and always. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to live in peace every single day. Everything comes to me with ease. I release all anxiety and welcome serenity. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that everything is aligning in my favor. Everything comes to me with ease. I keep my mind calm in the face of challenges. Everything comes to me with ease. I accept my emotions with love and compassion. Everything comes to me with ease. I radiate calm and harmony with every breath. Everything comes to me with ease. I am guided by the wisdom of inner peace. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to cultivate thoughts that bring balance. Everything comes to me with ease. I rest in the certainty that everything is in its perfect place. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks because serenity sustains my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I open myself to relationships filled with respect and harmony. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize love as the energy that heals and strengthens. Everything comes to me with ease. I attract true connections that uplift my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to share kindness and tenderness in every encounter. Everything comes to me with ease. I am worthy of receiving light and reciprocal love. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate the bonds that brighten my heart. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest sincere and lasting friendships. Everything comes to me with ease. I am guided toward relationships that reflect my essence. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for the people who walk by my side with love. Everything comes to me with ease. I live in harmony with the universal love that connects everything. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that I have a unique purpose in this life. Everything comes to me with ease. I am guided by a greater mission that gives meaning to my days. Everything comes to me with ease. I move forward with courage to fulfill my destiny. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every opportunity to serve with love and dedication. Everything comes to me with ease. I am worthy of prospering by doing what I love. Everything comes to me with ease. I transform my gifts into achievements that bless lives. Everything comes to me with ease. I connect to the voice of my soul that always guides me. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that every step brings me closer to my fulfillment. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for the privilege of living aligned with my purpose. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a full life, guided by my true mission. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to grow each day in wisdom and abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I open myself to greater accomplishments than I ever imagined. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that my life is in constant evolution. Everything comes to me with ease. I attract opportunities that expand my purpose and my joy. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every step as part of my progress. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a reality that is always expanding. Everything comes to me with ease. I walk with confidence toward new horizons. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks for all the growth already blooming in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe the universe supports me in every achievement. Everything comes to me with ease. I walk with confidence, knowing my life is one of constant victory. Everything comes to me with ease. I believe miracles are happening in this very moment. Everything comes to me with ease. I trust that the unseen is already working in my favor. Everything comes to me with ease. I receive victories that go beyond my understanding. Everything comes to me with ease. I choose to expect the unexpected with faith and joy. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate every sign that divine providence is with me. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that doors are opening in surprising ways. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks because miracles happen naturally in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I accept the extraordinary as part of my destiny. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest victories that arrive when I least expect them. Everything comes to me with ease. I am a daily witness of the power of miracles in motion. Everything comes to me with ease. I welcome every blessing that has been activated in this moment. Everything comes to me with ease. I recognize that every word declared is already in motion. Everything comes to me with ease. I feel the energy of abundance flowing freely within me. Everything comes to me with ease. I celebrate the transformation already unfolding in my life. Everything comes to me with ease. I rest in the certainty that nothing can stop my victory. Everything comes to me with ease. I am grateful for every block that has been dissolved today. Everything comes to me with ease. I manifest a new life, aligned with love, faith, and abundance. Everything comes to me with ease. I know this is only the beginning of a journey of miracles. Everything comes to me with ease. I declare that I am ready to live a full and abundant reality. Everything comes to me with ease. I give thanks because everything is already being fulfilled in my life now. Everything comes to me with ease. We close this powerful practice with the certainty that every word you repeated has planted seeds of abundance, healing, and transformation in your life. This mantra was not just repetition, it was a spiritual code that dissolved blocks, opened paths, and set a new reality into motion. Everything comes to you with ease when there is faith, surrender, and trust. And today, you affirm to the universe that you are ready to receive the best in every area of your life. Remember, the more you repeat this mantra, the stronger it becomes, creating a constant flow of prosperity and miracles. If this practice touched your heart, subscribe now and walk each day in an atmosphere of faith, abundance, and victory. By liking this video, you spread this energy to thousands of people who also need to awaken their inner power. Write in the comments, "Everything comes to me with ease," sealing in words the truth already alive in your life. And share this practice with someone you love, so together you multiply light and blessings. Go in peace, in gratitude, and in trust. The universe is already responding to your call, and nothing can stop the abundance that is coming to meet you.